Hello everybody, how you doing? Wee Paddy here from across the shuck, and this is a request that other people done. I've done a show and tell about the new Worksharp precision sharpener, how to set it up and what it was like to set up, which was completely easy. So if you go back a couple of videos, you'll see that. But a lot of people asked me would it do a sharpening so that they could see it. I've done one sharpening in this. This is going to be my second sharpening, and I'm sharpening an old William Rogers penknife from the sort of turn of the century, the 19th century, sort of 1920s, 1930s, maybe a bit younger, I'm not sure. But it's a beautiful bone handle on it, or buffalo horn handle, I believe. This is in 1095 or something like that. I'm not sure what it would have been. Maybe it wasn't 1095, 1085, whatever. It's just a carbon steel, so it's quite a soft steel. So it's not going to take a whole lot of sharpening. And if I would just shut up and get on with it, it would take a lot quicker. So what I've done, I've put it in the vise. And because it's a penknife, I've made sure I've got it in the center here. And that's what I can keep checking on when I'm doing the sharpening. Very light pressure, especially with a softer steel like a carbon steel. You really want the lightest pressure. These diamonds will do the work. And the one thing about doing light pressure is you'll keep your diamonds turning over and working nicely rather than just ripping them off the stone. I got this specifically for penknives because I wanted to see what it would be like on penknives. I've done one, I thought it was great, so I'm going to do this one in front of you. It should take somewhere around 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So get a cup of tea, pause the video, and just sit back and we'll have a chat as we're going through it. So, look, what I've done, I've set this at 20 degrees. This is a sturdy knife with a, it's a good working penknife. I would use this as my only EDC. It's got a 2.5 inch cutting blade, maybe even 2 3/4 inch cutting blade. So it's big enough for anything I will do on an EDC basis. So 20 degrees is good enough. My little smaller knives, I tend to try and get them down to about 17, and it just makes them really sharp because what I'm going to do is wee tags, wee bits of string, and it's just the sharper it is, the easier they are. So it's using the right knife for the right job, basically, and having the right bevel on your knife for the right job. I'll get a longer lasting life out of this with a 20 degree than I will with a 17 degree. So that's my thinking behind it. I'm not sure. So for this, it's just simple. You just turn this wee knob up here and it moves your angles. It goes from 30 down to 15. So there we go. It's all set up. I'm going to start on the 320 grit because I'm not too sure what this bevel is set at. In fact, it's a bit of a wobbly bevel, so I'm trying to get a better bevel. So when I put this in, I'm going to be putting it in this way. So I just want to see where I'm hitting the stone and to see what sort of an angle was on it. So I'm literally just going to where is it running out, or it's the light here that's throwing it. I'll be able to see that. So I'm going to turn this way. I know it's a bit awkward, but it means you'll see the knife. So this is just magnetic, and all it simply does is slide in there like that. That's it set. I have my angle guide set so that I can't go up past and I can't come down below. So there we go. That's just double check that. Yep. So, and I just want to check that that is centered still. Yep, it is. So, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to gently take a few strokes up and down. You can hear that it's quite harsh. Now, I'm just going to have a quick look, and the nice thing about this, you can just pull it out and get a nice look at it and see where that is, and I seem to be hitting everywhere along there, so it wouldn't have been much off a 20 degree angle, a wee puffer. So let's get back to it again. This has got a bad bit at the back. It's got a little choil, but somebody didn't take it right back to it. So I'm going to spend a bit of time leveling this up back here and then come across the edge and get a burr. Now, you've heard me talking about a burr. For those of you who don't know what a burr is, it's when you stroke this way on this side of the blade, the rough side, you're actually pushing metal over onto the other side, so you can feel it with your finger. And when you've got a burr from the very tip to the very end, that means you turn it over and then sharpen the other side, and then we'll move down the grits. I'll show you as we're going. So this first stone is the important stone. This is the stone that dictates how good your sharpening is going to get and how it's going to be. Again, this is a soft steel, so I don't want to put any pressure. And it's very easy just to go along this. This really makes it idiot proof, and I am an idiot. So if I can do it, so can you. I mean, anybody can move that back and forward. So what I want to do, I free-handed this when I first got it, so it's probably actually lower than 20. I tend to, when I freehand sharpen, I tend to have I get an edge between 15 and 17. That's what I normally get. I don't practice it. It's just what I've got from the beginning. It's that angle that I keep on my freehand sharpening, and I tend not to change it. So this might just be a wee bit off, a wee bit shallower, and I'm just taking it a bit steeper. And again, the nice thing about this is, yes, it's a fixed angle, but it's not fixed to the bench. It's light enough that you can, you know, if I want to have a look at it, oh, drop that down, I can just pull that out like that and pick it up and have a look. And I'm looking along this edge here, and I've already removed stock. You'll probably not see that, I wouldn't have thought. Well, you can see that I've got a nice bevel. If you can't, I can tell you I have a nice bevel. I've flattened this bit out at the bottom. It still needs, the stock still needs to come down a wee bit. I must have had it at a shallower angle. So to put this back in, it's just magnetic, so it's so simple to do. Everything about this is simplicity for a novice sharpener, he says, trying to get it in the hole. There we go. Now, I noticed that up here at my tip of my blade wasn't the same sort of width, so I'm going to give that a wee bit of extra. And this is, you want to look along the length to make sure you're getting a nice even grind. We always say that when we get a new knife, we look to see what the grind is. So when you're doing that, you realize just, you know, it's not quite as easy as just saying, I'm going to get an even grind. There is a bit of a knack to getting one. I'm trying to use as much of the stone as possible. The longer, and what that does, it just elongates the life of your diamond stones. You know, if you're just going to do wee bits like that, it'll wear out that wee bit in your stone, and then it's no good really, because it's going to bounce as it's going over. So the longer you can get them strokes, and there's wee rings on here that you just set it so as I can't go down past there, so it's not going to come off, and I can't go up past it. There, so it's as long as I can keep it. Some people say you need to do it the same amount of strokes on either side. I'm not as fussy on that, because once I get this first side done, all I'm going to do is exactly the same on the other side. And when I get the burr, I know I'm exactly on that apex, so it should be okay, he says. And I'm by no means, you know, I'm no expert. I enjoy being able to get a blade sharp. There is a primeval thing, I think, of man and blades and knives, and just being able to get something sharp that's going to protect you or help you with cooking or help you with shelter building. It is that, for me, it's that primeval thing. You know, you should be able to do it. And if this is the way you have to start, with a very simple, straightforward device, just start like this. You know what I mean? Just start like this. So I'm just going to take some of that off there. Right. Can you hear that? Hear it there. So I've definitely got this apex, but it's not down here, so I need to work a bit more down here. And that's the way you work. There's, you know, I can can hear that. And then it tails off. So from about here and down, I need to do some more work. See, I do a rough sharpening when I get something like this because, you know, I'm going to review it and all, so I don't do a perfect edge until after the review. I like to just keep things as basic as when they come. And as I'm coming up to where that is, I just spread it across so that I don't have this hollow. You don't want that wavy line. And again, I'll show you in a wee second. Once I've done this, once I've got it the full length, then I'll show you what I'm looking for. So when I go to the other side, that's exactly what I'm going to see on the other side. Let's try that. I'm getting at this whole center bit here has not reached the apex yet, and that's where, you know, I need to really spend the time. Oh, here, there's what I didn't do. There we go. There's my first mistake. Well, there you go. You've seen it live. I haven't got enough room to get to the end. I don't know whether you can see that. I didn't check the clearance between the end of this grip and this here. So I'm going to take it up. I'll take it up a little bit to about 20. Let's take it up to 21. No, I'm gonna. Well, there you go. This is. Well, I love when this happens. I know I should get annoyed, but I didn't check, and we all do that. So what I'm going to have to do is start again, and that's basically it. So I'm going to loosen this, and I'm going to have to bring this out further. I'm going to have to make sure it's in the center. Oh. There we go. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to go down to 20 degrees again because that's really where I want it. 20 degrees, and there we go. I have clearance. I hope you can see that. Can you see that? I don't know. I have clearance now over the blade. So this is now clearing the end of the, oh, let me just go that wrong. It's now clearing it. It's not touching the metal on the back. So there we go. I've made the most basic mistake, and that's okay. So now I'm going to have to restart. And do the whole blade because I just didn't check that, and I should have done that. It's one of the things you always check, that the edge is not going to, because all you're going to do is shave the metal off here, and that takes quite a while. So I'm just going to double check that I have got that. I've got that clearance. And just hold it up to the light and make sure that I have got it all the way along. Yep, we're all right. So it shouldn't take that much longer, but there you go. Like I told you, I'm no expert. We can all forget things, that's okay. I'm literally going to be taking a tiny wee bit of metal to cause that. And that's maybe why I wasn't getting down to the center bit, because I was filing the metal of the machine. So there you go. Hopefully this will be even quicker now. I wondered why that was taking so long, because it is only a soft steel. It's a great steel to practice on. You know, get an old knife, an old electrician's knife, you can pick them up for nothing on eBay. Still needs a wee bit in that centre. Please don't rush. You must get that burr. Don't get it nearly all the way there. You must get the full burr. so vitally important to getting that really sharp edge. So let's have a feel. You can feel it there. Feel it there. It's coming there. It's not that far off it. But it ain't there yet. So I'm not moving on until I'm happy that I've got the whole way down. I don't know when I'll put this video up. I'll probably put it up tomorrow morning, which is Saturday morning here in the UK. I think this is quite important because there we are. I've just made a mistake, and a lot of people when they're starting make mistakes and they think, oh, I'm doing it all wrong. It's not. You just keep practicing. And the temptation now is to dig to try and rush it. Please don't. You'll notice the difference when I do this bevel and I have this reprofile. So I'm basically doing a second reprofiling. And you'll notice the difference when I go to the next stone of how quick it is to get the next part of the journey done. I just want to check up to the light to see that I'm keeping my bevel nice and even, and it seems pretty even so far, and it must be getting close. It's starting to come now. Just do another wee bit in this middle bit and I think I'm going to be there. And you don't want to keep going till you've got a huge big bit of metal on the other side. It's just here I can catch my nail on it and no more. It's all you want. Just be careful, you don't want to run over that tip. This is a pretty rounded tip on this. I could actually do a wee file job and get a better point on it, which I will do at a later date, but tonight we're just going to do the sharpening. And then once I've done that wee bit of work in the middle, I want to level it all up by doing the whole length so that it's all together. That's looking nice. 20 degrees, good enough bevel on this knife anyway. There you go. You can hear that the whole way up the knife. Well, I hope you can hear it, but... And then with this, all you do is you push the button in on the back and turn it over, and then start the process all over again on this side. And this is a Rogers knife, and I can tell you that the recast, where the blade, this should be an even either side. It's not on this knife, and you'll often find that on older knives when they had more primitive machinery, that the blade is not dead centered in the ricasso here. It's off a wee bit or another, and there's nothing you can do about that. You just work with what you've got, and as long as you chase that burr, that's all you can do. Just chase the burr. You'll reprofile it, and it'll, as long as you've got that burr on both sides, it will do the knife. You're maybe not going to have an even line right across the edge, but it's all you can do. If the knife is off, that's it. You have to work with what you got, with, especially with an older pen knife. And to make it less noticeable, you just, well, for me, all I'll do is go down the lower degree where I'm going to make a small, I'll reprofile it, you know, if I wanted to. If I was that worried, I would reprofile it to a lower angle, which means you're going to get less of a a strip along there so that they both look more even. Just have a look and see what that is. I don't know whether you can see that. I'm hoping that the light will. Oh, I don't know where you can see it, but I'll try to get the light on it. It's a lesser of a grind line than there is on that side. If you can see that one, it's quite substantial, and on this side, it's not quite so substantial. Oh, let me just tilt it up. It's not quite as substantial, not as big. That's okay. That's okay. This is an inexpensive buy from eBay. It's a perfectly good, serviceable knife. The blade isn't perfectly centered in a Ricasso, but this just shows you, this is what I wanted this for. Just so as I can do reprofiles like this, and then I'll just strop this. Once you get, you know, a carbon steel blade sharp, a strop will often be all you'll need for a month. If you're using it, and just every night give it a bit of a strop, that's all this knife will ever need to keep it sharp. You know, and it depends how much heavy use you put on it, but even once a month, just give it a wee checkup. You wouldn't have to do the 320, you would just start at the 600, give it a wee quick rub, a wee quick shine with the ceramic, and that's you set for another month basically, as long as you strop every night. Stropping is the biggest part of keeping a I'm doing that because I've just gone a wee bit longer maybe than I would normally have. No, that's actually coming up quite well actually. That's not bad. How's that rounded tip? Just double and checking that I'm not down in the middle, and I'm not, so that's good. So let's check the burr. That's pretty good. I'm just going to give it another couple of little strokes, just for my benefit, that I've got absolutely right along the line. So I know over in the UK, but we can't seem to get this at the minute. I don't think there's anywhere that's got this wee sharpening system. So hopefully in the new year they'll have more. I had to order this one from America, Amazon in America, but we can't even get that anymore. They've not got them. Or they've not got them for the UK anyway. So it seems to have been a really popular sharpening device, new sharpening device, which is great because if it gets more people sharpening, I'm all for it. Having that ability to look after your own tools, to me, if you're a knife lover, it's just so important. There we go. Right, we're right along. So what we'll do is we'll take the grit off that and off the underside. And what I'm going to do now is just push the button in the back, turn it over, and then with this, all you do to go to the 600 grit, you switch it round, it clicks in, that's me on 600 now. So what I'm trying to do now is to refine the edge and take away the coarse. The 320 has got coarse scratches. This one is less, so it will smooth the knife out and therefore make it sharper. And at 600 grit, I think this is probably, to be honest, somewhere up near the 700-800, just going on my feel, and you'll get to know feel after a while. So I think it's about maybe 800 grit, But what that'll do, it'll give me an edge that I can take to work. I don't even have to go onto the ceramic if I don't want to. It'll give me a nice toothy edge that I can just pop onto work. I don't need to worry. This is not a show knife. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm going to remove the burr that I put on from the other side. I've switched it over, and I'm now going to remove the burr on this side. And again, you can hear the difference. Can you hear that? It's nowhere near as harsh or as coarse. And this first wee bit will just, and again, really light. I'm not actually pushing down at all. I'm pushing up and down, but I'm not pushing down. And again, you're just trying to keep the life of your diamond stones. Although I believe Worksharp are going to have, you can replace these stones. I haven't seen them advertised anywhere yet, but I'm sure over in the States they are. But hopefully by the new year we'll catch up as we normally do, slowly but surely. So what I just want to do, all I need to do now is get the burr from this side over to this side again. I think you can hear that. That's it done. That's it done already. So again, flick your knife over and back onto the stone, and this is the 600 again, and we're just going to and this bevel on this side is a bit narrower, but like I explained, that's only because that's nothing to do with this sharpener or what I'm doing. It's because the blade isn't centered. You know, when they grind a blade, they've got to come in so far on either side, and then they've got to make the bevel. Well, on the older machinery, and when they were doing, like, they were knocking these out by the thousands, you know, the turn of the century, fit and finish was never the greatest importance then. It was just a knife that was sharp and would cut. We've become very obsessed, if you like, with this fit and finish, that it has to be absolutely perfect. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's wrong, because with the technology we have now, that shouldn't be a problem. But in them days, they didn't have it, and they had just workers in who were, yeah, they were tradesmen, but they were on like piecemeal, you know what I mean? They had to do so many every day. So maybe their care and attention wasn't there, but the knife was sharp. It came out as a knife and it cut things. And that's what people were after. They were genuine tools. To us, they're nearly, you know, they're part of our makeup. They're part of our, if you're a knife person, that is, they are literally just part of your clothing. Leave it at the back here. I know this is boring, lads, I know it's not, but I felt as if there was that many people asking me to do it. I just wanted to do it once to let people see how easy it is to do, whether it's worth their investment. These are about, well, I got this for just over, I think it was about £55 if I'm honest, and that was delivered from America on the Amazon Global, which apparently is a really good price because they're only $50 odd in America. So, you know, so apparently for us over here, this is a pretty good deal. Whether it'll be the same the next time they come out, I'm not 100% sure. Brilliant, that's that done. So what I'm going to do now is switch it over, and because I'd put the burr over on this side now, what I've got to do is get the burr off. I'm just going to give that away. These stones you use dry, there's nothing, you don't use any water. So what I'm going to try and do now is just, and what I'm doing now is just trying to get that burr off. I'm just giving it nice gentle strokes as long as I can get them. I just want to get that burr off the end, and that burr is just little bits of metal. That's all it is, like a wire edge right along the blade, and what I want is to get it off. So I just gently do that. And on the other side, I want to do something very similar. I'm just giving this wee wipe, get some of that diamond dust off. And this is literally no pressure whatsoever, as lightly as I can get it. And what I'm doing, this is not stock removal or anything, so literally you can hear it's just me running it up the side of the knife. And you can do this. Now I'm going to do a few less on this side. And you can do this as not as long as you like, there's no point, but just do it until you feel as if you're getting no resistance at all on it, and it's just refining that grain so that it's all going the same way on both sides. Now that's sharp. That is flipping sharp. So what I'm going to do, just to show you that you can do it, from the 600, if it's just a working knife you've got, I would just leave it at the 600. I wouldn't waste my time doing this. But just because you're here, I'm going to go to the ceramic stone and I'm just going to give it a quick, just a run over, just to make sure, because I'm not going to sit and strop it while you're sitting watching. It's a really boring thing to do, but I'm just going to try and get it as sharp as I can get it. And again, this is no pressure. Listen to this. On that side, switch it over, and then on this side. I'm going to give it now one on each side, and that will do it, and we'll see how sharp it gets. Now you can spend as long as you like in this and you will get a mirror polish. You know, it mightn't be the best mirror polish in the whole wide world, because you know this is a basic sharpening system, but it does, don't get, when I say basic, it's advanced basic compared to what we used to have. I mean, there was nothing in this price range that would have been anywhere near as good as this. The Lansky was dearer than this by twice the price, and it's been going for years and years, you know, and it's been quite dear. So there we go. I'm going to give, what have I got up here? I have some receipt paper from boxes I was sending out and parcels this week. Now, this is what you want to listen to. From tip to toe. I mean, that knife is as sharp as you'll ever want a knife. So, I don't know how long that take. It says 33 minutes there, but I was talking for a long time and I made that stupid mistake at the first, so I've left it in. There you go, patty stick. But I've got a nice wee knife that's got, and let me see if I can show you. It's got a nice wee edge on that side. It's got a nice wee edge. Let me just get it down this way. It's a nice wee edge on that side. There you are, you can see the knife. Is it polished? No, it's not polished, but do you know, it's actually got a shine on it. I didn't think I would get a shine, but it's like a razor. And that will do me for the rest of today. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Sorry it was so long, but I just wanted to do it. I felt like it needed. Take care now. Bye-bye.